Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the presentation. I appreciate you guys being here. I'll talk about this in just a second. If I'm showing a really ugly face, it's what I was born with. But anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why in the world in just a second. But first, everybody, I'm Bishop James Long. Thanks so much for being here on this beautiful Friday. Happy Friday to all of you guys. Hello, howdy, and howdy do. So it is Friday, which is a good thing. Any day, it's a happy Friday. That's a good day. So, first of all, I want you to go to this website, the folks who sponsor the shows, and here it is, kgradb.com. KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. And I want you to subscribe there, folks. They have some great shows. If you love the paranormal like I do, well, go subscribe. But make sure you put Bishop as your promo code because you're going to get 30% off your subscription. It's already inexpensive as it is. So why not go and check it out? And I think you will enjoy it. I truly do. Also, if you want to go to my website, very, very simple, bishopjameslong.com. That's pretty easy. bishopjameslong.com. Just go check it out. Now, if you want to know the church's website, well, that's easy too. usocc.org. So, hey, I think we have a pretty easy thing there. So usocc.org. I want to remind you also that we do have a night prayer tonight, and that's at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can go to either website. My website, bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down, and you'll see night prayer or USOCC, and you'll see the night prayer link there too. So hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Paranormal Show. Friday. It's here. Oh, I hope you're having a big plans, do something good for yourself. Just do something good for yourself. I made a post on my Facebook page. I want to go back to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That's where I've got to get back there because it's just one of those. It's just a really cool place to go and visit, and one of my favorite places to go to. So I had talked about the other day about I can't drink caffeine. Caffeine just it just really irritates me a lot. So caffeine, I just can't do it, and so I was like, I need energy, so because sometimes when it's late at night, it's like, oh gosh. And how in the world am I going to get this energy going? Well, a friend of mine said, hey, I asked online, if you know any type of energy drink out there without the caffeine, let me know what it is, and I'll give it a shot. And we'll see how it goes. Well, the individual did. They sent me a message, which I appreciate. Now, I don't know anything about this as far as the quality, as far as and whether it gives you drink or energy or not. But this is what they informed me is a NOCO BCAA. So this is supposed to be, this is not supposed to have any type of caffeine in it because it doesn't have, I'm seeing the calories and the fat, the sodium, carbs, proteins, vitamins, etc. So there obviously there are nothing in here that says that it has caffeine in it. So I drank some before and I'm just finishing up. I got to tell you something. Have you ever had really cheap wine? I mean, really cheap, really. And see, Boone's Farm wine is pretty cheap, but Boone's Farm, they sometimes have some flavors that are pretty good. That's really cheap wine, but I'm talking about that wine that's really tart. That's like, oh gosh, that's you can tell it's like a $1.35 wine. I mean, you just tell, you know what I mean? That's kind of what this tastes like. And there's no alcohol in it, just to be safe, just to let everybody know. There's niacin, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and Viocin 15 million. So there's nothing in there regarding caffeine or sugar. So this has sugar, no sugar-free, and sugar-free and carbonated beverage. Pretty cool. So there's no caffeine. I'm going to try. I've tried it, but I got to tell you something, guys. It is tart. I guess that's the word that I could use. It's this is the apple version, apple natural flavor. So, well, no, it's vitamins, which is good for you. I don't like putting all a bunch of junk in me. So it's all natural. I went to the site, and the site's pretty cool. So anyway, here it is. So I've been drinking it. And this is the last of the this is the last of the drink, and I'm telling you, it is. If you get it, just be warned. Now, I have never drank this before. This is the first time I've ever drunk this. So if I start doing flips and if I cartwheels, then you obviously know this thing works. All right, just got to give you just got to give that up to you. Okay, so there we go. Cheers. Oh my gosh, they've got to do something about that taste. It's like dishwash soap or dish soap. I'm sorry, but Noka, you guys got to do something about this Apple thing. Woo. That'll put hair on your chest. Okay, so folks, welcome to the show. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. And here we are. It is Friday. Today we're going to have a really cool conversation. This is a conversation I've talked to you guys about before. It is no sound. Well, you should have sound. I don't know why. Hold on. Okay. No sound on Clapper. Oh, you should have it. You should have it because it's working. Let me know. You might have to refresh. I don't know what's in the way. It's really, really strange. It's on. Well, it's on now. That's kind of strange. Yeah. It's one of these, I guess cheap, clip-on, microphones. Yes, I'm live on Facebook. Yep. Yeah, for some reason, Facebook is acting crazy too because they're not sending messages out. I don't know why. Mr. Producer, maybe you can help me out on this. When we go to when I schedule a show using the StreamYard, for some reason it shows on my Facebook page an envelope. It doesn't show a world. So it's like it's open to everybody. And I can't even go in there to change the privacy. So I can't do that. It's one of those things. I don't know why. So maybe we'll have to figure this out and go from there. Okay, yeah, I kind of like the background. It's Paranormal Friday, so we have to have a good time on Paranormal Fridays. So today, folks, we're going to talk about aliens and alien abduction. And I got to tell you something, guys. There is a lot of stuff going on here. What is this? Is a good amino acid supplement for energy? Yeah. Hold on. People are sending me messages here, so I want to take a screenshot so I'll remember it. It's kind of hard when you're doing a live show and so there we go. I'll see about that. It says I don't know, something cametine or something is a good amino acid supplement for energy. Take vitamin B. Yeah. Okay. Does God say nothing? Well, no. Here's the deal. People say, well, does God say anything? Well, God doesn't say anything about computers. God doesn't say anything about the space shuttle. God doesn't say anything about satellites. God doesn't say anything about computers. The Bible doesn't say anything about antihistamines. The Bible doesn't say anything about shots. Come on. So the Bible doesn't say anything about watches. The Bible doesn't say about. We can go on. We can shuttles or boats that we have today, cruise ships that are massive, floating cities. So just because it's not in the Bible, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm kind of confused as to why someone says, well, if it's not in the Bible, it doesn't exist. Well, it doesn't say anything about the Bible, but there's computers, or there's penicillin or amoxicillin. So, if we're going to go that route, then let's go. Let's take it there. And so let's. I think we have to be careful about just saying, well, it doesn't say in the Bible, so therefore it doesn't exist. Well, I'm looking at a computer right now. I'm looking at 3 computers, and the Bible does not say anything that iPads existed or iMac existed, or even these little ring lights. But here they are. Or even my computer or my air conditioning. But here it is. So I think you get the point. All right. Or cell phones for that matter, or phones in general. So anyway, I think we can't use that as an argument. Well, therefore, because that's in logic, it's argumentum ad ignorantium. That's in Latin, which means argument from ignorance. Just because there is no proof that something exist, that doesn't therefore mean that they don't exist. So, for example, you can say there's no proof that the aliens exist, therefore they don't exist. Well, just because there's no current proof, that doesn't mean that they don't exist. It just simply means there's no proof right now. However, I would actually argue that there is. And so there we are. Now we know the Bible. Well, yes, I've never denied that the Bible is the Word of God. I haven't denied that at all. But the Bible also doesn't talk about a lot of things. It doesn't make it irrelevant. I mean, it's not. But the point of the Bible was not about to tell you if we have computers in the 21st century. That wasn't the point of the Scripture. The point of Scripture was to show the fallen of humanity that entered into original sin, and through Christ's death, resurrection, that we now have eternal life. It talks about prophecy and how Jesus fulfilled the prophecy and how we should live a moral life. That is the point of the Scripture. It is not to predict that we're going to have computers or space shuttles or F-16 fighter pilots. That wasn't the point of the Scripture. So, all right, let's go ahead and comments off. And the reason is I do that because, again, we're dealing with trolls. Seems like that's just a constant thing these days, but that's okay. All right. Tonight, we are going to talk about aliens and alien abduction. I got to tell you something. That's all right. I got to tell you something, guys. There's just too much evidence. There's too much going on for us just to just dismiss it. There's way too much. And I think when you have this, you have to realize that something is happening. Something is happening. We're seeing this more and more and more. No, the friend is no longer working on it. The Jeep is in a dealership because there's more damage done to it before he worked on it. So, okay. So anyway, that's the whole point, that we're going to talk about the aliens, and I believe that there are. And you may not believe so, and that's fine. But there's a very famous Boeing 747 captain who has actually seen UFOs. Now, we're talking about people who are in the air. They're in the air all the time. This is their life. And they're trained pilots. They're analytical. They're logical. They are calm under pressure. These are individuals who don't like to kind of get too emotional as far as, because they have to stay in control, and when things go bad, and they have a procedure. They're very procedural. So there is a very famous Boeing 747 captain that has seen UFOs. This is by Jeffrey Thomas. To be fair, to give this credit where credit is due. A veteran and a highly respected Boeing 747 captain has told The Sun Online that he has seen a number of UFOs. Captain Christian Van Heist, a regular contributor to the website, told The Sun that he has witnessed objects which appear to exceed all known technology, as they appear to him to hit hypersonic speeds of up to 23,000 miles per hour. Now, I want you to think about that, what I just said. These objects are flying at 23,000 miles per hour. I can't imagine that type of speed. I can't even imagine 1,000 miles per hour, let alone 23,000. And people are going to say, well, it's a weather balloon. Weather balloons don't travel at 23,000 miles per hour. The 39-year-old from the Netherlands is a respected airman and an award-winning aerial photographer. And yet he has seen many things that he cannot explain, with former U.S. military pilots coming forward to tell about their own unexplained experiences that really piqued the interest of the writer. Says, I realize what they had described sounded very much like some of the strange things that I have seen years before, the pilot told the Online. So I was always thought that this was some military stuff that I had seen, but now it is possibly something else entirely that even stunned some of the best U.S. military pilots on record. So Christian, who is the captain, has been flying for 20 years, starting out as a champion aerobatics pilot before moving over to commercial planes. So he told the Sun that while 99% of the weird stuff he sees in the sky, it can be dismissed. He said there are still a handful of sightings which for him defy explanation. Now, remember, this is a professional. So a lot of people say, well, I just don't think so. And then I say, well, what is your experience? Oh, thank you. I appreciate the aliens. And I say, well, what is your experience? Where's your training? Well, I don't have any training. So then you're just giving an opinion based on an opinion. You're not giving an opinion based on education, on training, on knowledge. You're just giving an opinion because you got one. Well, these individuals are saying what they are seeing. So Christian emphasized on the Sun that as a pilot, he is trained to spot things in the sky, with his main objective when he's at control being to keep his plane safe. That makes sense. He says, if I see something that catches my eye, I immediately want to know if it's another airplane, something weather-related, military, or anything else that might jeopardize my flight. Anything else is secondary. And that is also why airline pilots are credible, trained observers. We don't search for UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. We evaluate everything we see based on our thorough knowledge of aerial observations and meteorological experience and wonder if anything has a direct influence on our flight path or airplane. So, and for this captain, one of the most compelling and strange sightings was over Greece as he was flying near the USS Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier and her strike group. He was flying a Fokker 50 at the time and witnessed a bright light appear at an extremely high altitude, moving at an approximate speed of up to Mach 30, 23,000 miles per hour. Folks, I can't, I want you to, this is a person who is trained. He knows what he's talking about. And 23,000 miles per hour. You have to understand, let me give you a little bit of a lesson that will really open your eyes. The United States military has some of the most advanced, powerful military in the world. No question about it. The maximum speed of a jet fighter plane, it will vary depending on the model, but they can generally reach speeds reaching a little over 1,000 miles per hour. Some of the fastest jets include the F-15 Eagle and F-22 Raptor, which is the top of the top, the best of the best. And how fast do they go? They can go up to 1,500 miles per hour. Now, again, let that sink in, folks. An F-22 Raptor and an F-15 Eagle, the best of the best fighter planes you can possibly buy in modern technology right now, they can go up to 1,500 miles per hour. However, this captain saw a bright light and moved at a very strange flight pattern at Mach 30, 23,000 miles per hour. So he says no known physics can describe what that thing did. As far as I know, it left no trail or anything like it. Just an instant speed and poof, gone. Now, Christian also shared with the online that what appears to be a cigar-shaped object that he took in January 2010, and with the encounter with the object lasting over an hour. And by the way, for those of you who want to know, he was flying from Amsterdam to Malaysia at 41,000 feet. When he spotted the shape around 100 nautical miles ahead of him. And air traffic control told them that there was no other aircraft in the area. And the object actually appeared to be very large and stationary, hanging in the sky and actually blocking out part of the sun. That's phenomenal. So we're seeing something going on here. And not only that, but keep in mind, for those of you who don't know, this is by Jeff Berliner. And when I read this, I thought, okay, I got to share this with you guys. A veteran pilot whose UFO sighting was confirmed on radar screens said the mysterious object was so enormous that it dwarfed his Japan Airlines cargo plane. And they've done actually documentaries on this. Captain Kinju Terachi, he's the pilot. He also said he saw two other small unidentified objects, smaller than his cargo carrier, that did not appear on radar. So Terachi, his co-pilot and flight engineer, all told Federal Aviation Administration investigators that they saw the lights of an unidentified object. And they were flying parallel and then suddenly approached very close, who requested and received FAA permission to take whatever action was necessary to avoid the object that appeared for a time on FAA and Air Force radar. And on the radar screen in the cockpit of JAL Flight 1628. So you can look that up. You can Google that, JAL Flight 1628. Now, the FAA confirmed on Tuesday that government radar picked up the object that the captain said that actually followed his Boeing 747 cargo jet. And he had been a pilot for 29 years and said he briefly glimpsed the large unknown object in silhouette. He said it was very big, 2 times bigger than any aircraft carrier. Well, we don't have that type of plane that's 2 times bigger than an aircraft carrier. Now, he made a drawing of how he thought the object looked. He drew a giant walnut-shaped object with huge bulges above and below and a wide, flattened brim. And the captain, who was stationed in Anchorage with his family, was flying the jumbo jet from Iceland to Anchorage on a Europe to Japan flight when the crew encountered the object in clear weather over Alaska. And Terachi said that the 3 identified objects followed his jet for 400 miles. He said it was unbelievable, acknowledging that some of his colleagues had doubts about what the crew even saw. The FAA investigators who questioned the crew in Anchorage concluded in a report that the crew was normal, professional, rational. There was no drug or alcohol involved. And the flight's crew experience totals more than 46 years. So he said that the crew was not frightened, but wanted to avoid whatever was lit up in their flight path. He said we wanted to escape from this. And they followed FAA directives to drop 4,000 feet and make turns. So FAA even ordered them to drop 4,000 feet because they clearly saw this object on their radar. So people say, well, it was a cloud. You're not going to see they're not going to say, oh, you have to go up 4,000, so you won't go through the cloud. Come on. So he dropped 4,000 feet and make turns, including a 360-degree turn. But he said then they were still following us. And he said the evasive maneuvers were of no avail and the lights stayed close, once appearing in front of the actual cockpit. Now, FAA flight control reports indicate the object stayed with JAL Flight 1628 for at least 32 minutes. But Terachi said that he thought it was longer. The flight controller directed the JAL plane, reported the object on his radar was as close as 5 miles to the jet. That's dangerous. When you have an object that's twice the size of an aircraft carrier that actually appears on radar, that's a metal object. So if FAA is catching it, and so is military, that is a metal object. There's something there that's twice as big as an aircraft carrier. And Terachi said the objects moved quickly and stopped suddenly. He referred to the object as 2 small ships and the mother ship. And he said jokingly that he thought that UFOs might have followed his charter cargo plane because, quote, we were carrying Majula's very famous wine made in France. He said maybe they wanted to drink it. Well, it was nice that he was able to laugh about his experience. But can you imagine? Look, you got to think about this. These people are professionals. They have nothing to gain to report a false report. Like, they have nothing to gain from it. because many people in their field would think, oh boy, they're kind of losing their marbles. So for people who are professional like this man, and for his entire staff that was on the plane who reported the same thing, again, how people always say, well, prove to me that aliens exist. Well, the stories like this is very convincing, and when you get stories like this, for me, I take note very carefully, because you have to. Let's see. Deborah says, my dad was the aviator in his U.S. Navy in 1968. Many pilots and crew reported UFOs. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, at 20, you got to understand, folks, again, 23,000 miles per hour. My brain I can't register that. And they're seeing something. So for those of you who are offering gifts on TikTok, thank you for doing that. I sincerely appreciate that. Remember, folks, I do have the show running on 3 different computers. So if I don't see it over here because I'm looking at this computer or this computer, I do apologize. But thank you for the likes as well. I appreciate the likes. Let's keep liking this video so we can get into the algorithms and let people know about the show. So let's talk a little bit about alien abduction. I had the opportunity to speak to Travis Walton a couple of times with his experience of fire in the sky, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But alien abduction refers to the phenomenon of people being reported and reporting the experience of being kidnapped by extraterrestrial beings and subjected to physical and psychological experimentation. And there have been many people who have claimed that have been abducted. And obviously, these people think they're called abductees. Some people refer to them as experiencers. Now, there are obviously psychologists that dismiss it and say this is all about suggestibility, or false memory syndrome, or sleep paralysis, deception. So a lot of people try to dismiss. These people are not asleep. They are fully awake and alert when this happens. So if you have sleep paralysis, I can understand if you say, well, for 20 seconds, I thought I was on an alien ship. I was sleeping and I thought I was on an alien ship and I couldn't move and I couldn't walk. Well, yeah, then you can say that could be sleep paralysis. But these people experience these for hours and they are able to move. So you can't dismiss that. Now, there's a lot of claims who say that there has been forced medical examinations that emphasizes the subject's reproductive system. And people say, well, why would they do that? Why would they actually, that doesn't make sense. Why would they take human beings and do terrible experiments on them? That's something that they should never do. They would never do. Well, we do it all the time to animals. If you think about it, we really do. We've done, in the name of science, we've done some god-awful experiments. And we truly have. So typical claims, again, have talked about these medical experiments. And people who are abducted will sometimes claim to have been warned against environmental abuses, the dangers of nuclear weapons. Abduction narrative often seem to vary with the home culture of the alleged abductee. What I find very fascinating about alien abductions is this. It happens in almost every culture. There are people who claim to have been abducted in every culture and in every religion. So you can't use the argument, well, it must be just culturally based or faith-based. No, that's simply not true. So UFOs, alien abductions, mind control plots can also be a part of radical political apocalyptic, narratives to scare people to vote for you. But there have been a lot of issues. The first alleged alien abduction came to be widely publicized as the Betty and Barney Hill abduction. And that was in 1961. For those of you who don't know, you can go to YouTube and there's actually there's recordings of their hypnotherapy sessions that you can listen to where they talk about what happened and being taken. And I don't want to ruin it for you because some of you might want to actually go up there, but it's called Betty and Barney Hill in 1961. I have listened to the recordings and they're chilling. They're very chilling. But again, you have the naysayers who are going to say, no. These are people who just have false memories. Well, they didn't think so. They didn't think so. Now, UFO abduction claims they have seen kind of a decline with their initial surge in the mid 1970s. But there's a lot of skeptics out there and say, no, it simply doesn't happen. It's all a figment of your imagination. Mainstream scientists reject claims that the phenomenon literally occurs as reported. There's little doubt that many apparently stable persons who report alien abductions believe their experiences were real. Now, well, thank you. Some abduction reports I think they're quite detailed. It's an entire subculture has developed around the subject with support groups and a detailed mythos explaining the reasons for abductions. We'll talk about the various aliens that a lot of people think exist, like the Greys, the Reptilians, the Nordics. But most are said to have very specific roles or origins, motivations. And there have some people who have said that they've had abduction, but it wasn't a violent situation at all. And others, their experiences have been very aggressive. And we really see, when we see alien abduction, we don't see the term until around 1960s. And the UFO researcher Jerome Clark dubbed them, these alien abductions as paleo abductions. So, for example, in November 27, 1896, good grief, November 27, 1896, there was an edition of the Stockton, California Daily Mail. And Colonel H.G. Shaw claimed that he and a friend were harassed by 3 tall, slender humanoids whose bodies were covered with a fine, downy hair who tried to kidnap the pair. 1896. And in 1953, there was a magazine where Leroy Thorpe titled, "Are the Flying Saucers Kidnapping Humans?" Apparently, there's been a lot of reports even then. And then there's a lot of landmark cases, no question, when you're talking about, alien abductions. But here's what you probably don't know about, and you may never have ever heard of this. There was an alien abduction claim occurred in the mid-1950s with the Brazilian Antonio Vilas Boas. I tell you, it's a very intriguing case, which did not receive much attention until like several years later. And then of course, widespread publicity was generated by the Betty and Barney Hill abduction in 1961. And there actually was a made-for-television film for this in 1975. It starred James Earl Jones and Estelle Parsons. So for those of you who want to check it out, it's the Betty and Barney Hill abduction. And the Hill incident was probably the prototypical abduction case, and perhaps the first in which the claimant described things that later became widely known as the Greys. And we'll talk about who the Greys are in just a second. These 2 cases, and I'm telling you, if you've not read the Antonio Vilas Boas case, it is very disturbing. And I'll give you a heads up. There are online sources out there that have pretty graphic pictures that what was taken. So you just need to be aware. I did check them out. I'm not going to show them obviously here, but I was troubled by what I saw, because some of it was like, okay, this is a problem. There was some, and only because of what happened to the body. So, and I can't really go into what, but no question, the Betty Barney Hill abduction case in 1961, you got to check out. Now, these 2 cases are sometimes viewed as the earliest abduction. Thank you very much. And there's other cases as well, if you haven't ever heard. Now, Leo Sprinkle, he was a University of Wyoming psychologist, became interested in the abduction phenomenon in the 1960s. Sprinkle became convinced of the phenomenon, and actually perhaps the first to suggest a link between abductions and cattle mutilation. And you probably have heard about this. Cattle mutilation is very strange. Eventually, Sprinkle came to believe that he had been abducted by aliens in his youth. So you can check him out. It's R. Leo Sprinkle. And Bud Hopkins had been interested in UFO for some years. And in 1970s, he became interested in abduction reports and began using hypnosis to extract more details. And Hopkins soon became a figurehead of the growing abductee culture. And 1980s brought a major degree of mainstream attention to the subject. So works by Hopkins, novelist Whitley Strieber, and some others talk about their experiences. I'm telling you, if there's so much, the description of alien encounters are as researched presented by Hopkins and these other authors. They have very slight differences, but there's a lot of similarities too. And we're going to talk about some of these similarities. The demographics, I think, with alien abductions reports are usually made by adults, and sometimes young children report having similar issues. And these child reports often feature very specific details in common with reports of abduction made by adults, including like circumstances, narrative, entities. And often these young abductees have family members who have been reported having abduction experiences. There is a belief that, and again, for those of you who are in ufology, who study alien abductions, there's a big belief that people who are abducted are chosen, and they're chosen at a very early age. And in fact, many times they have had experiences, even as a child, but they just don't remember. And that quite often the tall aliens will often come and just check on you to see how you're doing. Now, some studies show that the abductees have, they've had psychological characteristics that render their testimony suspect, to be fair. But there are others who have passed psychological evaluations. For those of you who want to know, Elizabeth Slater conducted a blind study of 9 abduction claimants and found them to be prone to mildly paranoid thinking and nightmares of having other issues. But Richard McNally of Harvard Medical School concluded in a similar study of 10 abductees that none of them was suffering from any sort of psychiatric illness. So I don't think we can use that argument anymore. There's a lot of political arguments, and especially conspiracy theories about the UFOs and what it's all about. A lot of self-described abductions of victims that often join self-help communities, which they should, and they have regression therapy. Now, regression therapy is when you go back in your life sometimes even really, really far. And some people even believe in your past lives. And a lot of psychologists will say that you can falsely imprint a memory that actually never occurred. However, there are some that believe that absolutely this is 100% true. Now, a lot of researchers have noted common points in the report narratives. So, I don't believe anything until I see them in Times Square. So, here's how basically it breaks down. According to these organizations, an abductee is this: a person who must have been taken against their will by apparent non-human beings, taken to a special place perceived as an extraterrestrial or to be a spaceship. They then must experience being subjected to an examination or to engage in some form of communication with beings or both. And communication may be perceived as telepathic rather than verbal. A lot of people say that. And the memory of the experiences may be conscious or recovered through means like hypnosis. Now, for those of you who want to know what the status is and how to determine, well, there are different cases. They vary different. But some UFO researchers, such as folklorist Thomas Bullard, argue that there is a broad, fairly consistent sequence and description of events that make up the typical close encounter of the fourth kind. It's a popular but unofficial designation, though the features outlined are often reported. So here's what it says. Bullard argues that most abduction accounts feature the following events, and they generally follow the following sequence. Not all abductions do this, but many do. First, they say they are captured. So the abductee is somehow rendered incapable or resisting. Many people talk about how they're catatonic. They can't move, they can't think. It does mimic sleep paralysis, but with cases that I've talked to, these people were not asleep, and they were not going to sleep. They were wide awake in the afternoon. So therefore, you have to say, well, it might not necessarily be sleep paralysis. They're taken from terrestrial surroundings to an apparent alien spacecraft that many people say. Then they believe there's examination and procedures. So invasive physiological and psychological procedures, and on occasion simulated behavioral situations, training, testing, etc. Then there is a conference. So the abductors communicate with the abductee or direct them to interact with specific individuals for some purpose. Most of the time, people say they do this telepathically. Sometimes they say they do it in a person's own language, but that's rare. And then they say there's a tour. So the abductees are given a tour of the captor's vessel. This is disputed by a lot of researchers who consider this definition just something else. Something's not right there. Almost every single abductee will say they have a loss of time. And abductees often rapidly forget the majority of their experiences, either as a result of fear, medical intervention, or both. Many people say there's a return. So the abductees are returned to Earth, occasionally in a different location from where they allegedly taken, with new injuries, disheveled clothing. Certainly, Travis Walton said that. And Travis Walton, in the movie Fire in the Sky that I met a couple of times, and I talked to him about his case, he said he was captured. There were procedures done to him. They were able to speak telepathically, communicate with him telepathically. He didn't really have a tour, at least not when I spoke to him. He didn't. There was an incredible loss of time. He was abducted for quite several days. They thought he was dead. And then there is a return. So the abductees are returned to Earth, occasionally a different location, which he was. And he was returned, but he was completely nude. And he got to a phone booth and was able to call people. There's a term called theophany, which is coinciding with their immediate return. Abductees may have a profound sense of love, like a high, similar to those induced by certain drugs, like a mystical experience. And he did tell me, actually, he used that word, the words. When he described his experience, he said it was a mystical experience. And many times they say they feel like they have this a feeling of accompanied by a feeling of oneness with God, the universe, and even their abductors. And whether this is a result of a metaphysical change, Stockholm syndrome, or prior medical tampering, we just simply don't know. So we don't know. For those of you, Stockholm syndrome is a proposed, I believe it's a condition which hostages develop a psychological bond with their captors. That's what Stockholm syndrome is, which was very sad because even Elizabeth Smart, remember the young girl that was taken by that mentally disturbed man and his wife. He was taken from her home at knife point, and he did terrible, terrible things to her. But people actually, can you believe people actually said that she developed Stockholm syndrome for this man? The man that did terrible things to her. She was a child. And people say, well, you had Stockholm syndrome. No, she was abused. She was threatened. She was trying to live. She was trying to survive, and she couldn't talk to anybody. He kept her in the woods with this crazy wife of his. It was, and he took her as a wife, this young child. It was terrible, terrible. There's a movie called, I think, the Elizabeth Smart Story. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to check it out. She even mentions in several interviews that people actually accuse her of having Stockholm syndrome, where the victim actually develops a psychological bond with their captors. It's supposed to result from a rather specific set of circumstances, namely the power imbalances contained in hostage-taking, kidnapping, abusive relationship. Therefore, it's difficult to find a large number of people who actually experience Stockholm syndrome. So that's what it is. People are asking, what does that mean? The argument is that emotional bonds may be formed between the captors and the captives during personal time together, but these are generally considered irrational in light of the danger or risk endured by the victims. And by the way, to be fair, Stockholm Syndrome, for those of you who don't know, has never been included in the Diagnostic or Statistic Manual of Mental Health Disorders. So we have to, it was first coined in 1973 or used in the media in 1973 when 4 hostages were taken during a bank robbery in Stockholm, Sweden. And the hostages defended their captors after being released and would not agree to testify in court against them. And it was noted in this case, however, that the police were perceived to have acted with little care for the hostages' safety, providing an alternative reason for their unwillingness to testify. Okay. So again, that's important to explain that, what that Stockholm Syndrome is, before we move on. So there's a belief. And actually, what's interesting is I have talked to people. I've been in the paranormal field for 35 years. It was my first time that I ever investigated the case. And by the way, for those of you on TikTok, I'll open the comments at the top of the hour. I promise you. But I talked to a lot of people, including Travis Walton. And I remember Travis telling me, I said, do you have any hatred towards these things? I mean, do you find animosity? He said, no. No, he said, because it taught me a lesson that I needed to learn. There was something, he said, I don't think they were trying to hurt me or kill me. He almost, at least from when I talked to him, and it was a great time because I was at a paranormal conference and there was no one else around, which was very unusual, because I think it was either when it just started or it was coming to an end. I think it was late in the evening and everybody pretty much have left the conference. And so he was there. And I said, this is an opportunity for me to stop by and say, hey, I'm Bishop Long, and I'd love to talk to you. And he was very generous with his time. But he actually talked about these alien beings as not as a violent things trying to kill him or harm him, but just trying to learn from him. And at least the perception that I got from his story was that there was no animosity. There was no hatred. And so some people would say that Travis experienced some form of Stockholm Syndrome. I didn't necessarily get that he was defending them and protecting them, but rather that understanding that there was some reason for it. So theophany means the people who return from having these experiences have this profound sense of love. Accompanied with a oneness with God and the universe, and perhaps maybe again Stockholm Syndrome. And then finally, there's the aftermath. So the abductee must cope with the psychological, physical, and social effects of the experience. And I talked to Travis about that too, and he said, "Yeah, it took some time. It took some time because he was so afraid." And matter of fact, even I asked him if he ever went back to the location. He said yes. But he had extreme anxiety and PTSD over that. Which, by the way, I've tried several times to get Travis onto the show. I would love to have Travis on the presentation again. I would love to, because he was a great presenter on his talking about his experiences. Phenomenal. By the way, when describing the abduction scenario, David Jacobs says this. He says, the entire abduction event is precisely orchestrated. All the procedures are predetermined. There's no standing around deciding what to do next. The beings are task-oriented. There's no indication whatsoever that we have been able to find any aspect of their lives outside of performing the abduction procedures. Now, believe it or not, abduction claimants report unusual feelings preceding the onset of an abduction experience. So they have these weird feelings before it occurs. These feelings manifest like as a compulsive desire to be at a certain place at a certain time, or as expectation that something familiar yet unknown will occur. So something draws them to a particular location, and they have to be there. Oh, you are? Well, Mr. Producer, I'm going to ask a favor from you then, Mr. Producer, to let's get Travis Walton on this show. Mr. Producer says that he's friends with him. So, Mr. Producer, he says he will make it happen. So there you go, folks. You've just heard it right here. Mr. Producer from behind the scenes, great guy, by the way, has just said that he is friends with Travis Walton and that he is going to speak to him next week. By the way, I'm very jealous, Mr. Producer. I'm very jealous that you will be going to Roswell. Now, I know it's a sin to be envious. I'm very envious. I will admit that. I'll have to go to confession later. I've never been to Roswell, and I have always wanted to go to a conference there because I find alien abduction cases fascinating. I truly do. So we have our Mr. Producer says that he is going to get Travis Walton on this show. Now that will rock. For those of you who don't know, again, Travis is, he was such a generous individual with his time. You're going to call him now. Travis was he was so generous with his time and very respectful and kind and courteous. And he didn't have to talk to me. He didn't have to, but he did. And I actually was wearing my collar because I was there talking about demonology and things of this nature. But he was very generous. So I have a great deal of respect for him and his story and his experience. Many people who are captured will say that again they just feel like they're pulled to a particular location for whatever reason. They have to get there, and then abductees will also report feeling severe or undirected even anxiety at this point, even though nothing unusual has actually occurred yet. So their body is telling something is going to happen. And this period of foreboding can last up to several days before the abduction actually takes place. Now, eventually, the experiencer will undergo an apparent shift into an altered state of consciousness. British abduction researchers have called this change in consciousness the Oz factor. So for those of you who love this, hopefully you're enjoying this presentation because I love talking about this topic just as much as I enjoyed talking about demonology and even cryptids. External sounds cease to have any significance during this Oz factor to the experiencer, and it falls out of perception. They report feeling introspective, unusually calm. And this stage marks a transition from a normal activity to a state of limited self-willed mobility. And as consciousness shifts, like one or more lights are alleged to appear, occasionally accompanied by a strange mist. And the source and nature of the lights, it differ by report. Sometimes the light emanates from a source outside the house. And obviously by the UFO, when thinking sometimes the lights are in a bedroom with the experiencer and transform into alien figures. Now, as the alleged abduction proceeds, claimants say that they will walk or sometimes be levitated into an alien craft. Now, in the latter case, to be levitated to that, often through solid objects such as walls and ceilings and closed windows, and alternatively, they may experience rising through a tunnel or along a beam of light, with or without the abductors accompanying them, and they're waiting in the craft. So let's talk about the examination. A lot of different reports here. Well, thank you very much, Timeless. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, I will be in Connecticut. So for those, please, if you want to, I'm going to be there giving a presentation on demonology, and you need to make sure you get your tickets. Right now, there's one more conference that I'm speaking to that I might be appearing at. I think it's in Arkansas, and I think that's going to come through because I'm friends with the folks. But if that's the case, I'll let you know. Thank you very much. However, this one is confirmed. So, and I'll get to the examination in just a second. But July 22nd, this year, so next month, folks, actually less than a month, I'm going to be in Southbury, Connecticut, and it's going to be at the Heritage Road in Southbury, Connecticut. It will be at the Heritage Hotel. Now, I'm going to be there. Reverend Bill Bean, who is an exorcist, will be there. Archbishop Fail Enright, who is an exorcist, he will be there. And Archbishop Cloud, who is an exorcist, he will be there as well. And Jason McLeod, who worked with the Warrens on their cases, who is a demonologist, who has 2 books out that you have to get. They're called Dark Siege. If you have not you've not gotten those books, folks, you got to get them. They are truly, I think, some of the best books when it comes to demonology. He is brilliant in his writing because he tells you the story, and you're actually in the way he writes, you're in this story. So this is the website, darksiege.com. Okay, darksiege.com. That is where you need to make sure you check that out, because if you do, you can find out where you can get tickets. You can get them. Please get them, because if you don't, they could sell out. As we get closer and closer, people always wait till the last minute. And if they sell out, they sell out. There's nothing we can do about it. They are going to have this online as well. So it will be live stream. So if you can't get to Southbury, Connecticut to meet us, you can go to the website, Dark Siege, SIEGE.com, and make sure you go there. You just follow it. There's directions there to tell you where you can go. There's a Facebook group page where, again, all of it's there, where you can get your tickets to watch it on live stream. Okay, so I encourage you. This is rare to have a conference of exorcists who are experienced, trained, and knowledgeable in the field to talk about our experiences. We're going to be there in this conference. And it's called Defeating the Demonic. That is the name of it, Defeating the Demonic. And again, it's going to be July 22nd, next month, darksiege.com. Get your tickets today. Also, one more little announcement that I forgot. Don't forget, hopefully you've been enjoying the show that I'm on as a cast member called Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists. It is on Travel Channel and Max on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reviews have been very good. The ratings have been very good. So we will see what happens with about season 2. But the ratings are good. I'm very, very happy with it. And so if you have not watched it, make sure you check it out. It's just a neat show that's never been done before, because a lot of paranormal shows are getting a little stagnant. So Eli Roth Presents the Legion of Exorcists on the Travel Channel. Again, I'm a cast member, and I'm proud to be a cast member. And check that out on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yep, with Rich as well, and Sean, who's a seminary. So it's great. So let's get back to the examination process when someone is abducted. The examination phase of the so-called abduction narrative is characterized by the performance of like medical procedures and examinations, apparently by these alien beings, against or irrespective of the will of the experiencer. So such procedures often focus on the reproductive biology of the person. However, literature holds reports of a wide variety of procedures, not just of the reproductive system. The entity that appears to be in charge of the operation is often taller than the others involved, and is sometimes described as appearing to be even a different species altogether. There's a lot of authors who note that different areas of emphasis between human medicine and what is reported as being practiced by the abductors. So there's a lot of reasons for this. The abductors' areas of interest appear to be the cranium. So the aliens who abduct these people have kind of focused on the cranium, the nervous system, the skin, the reproductive system, and even to a lesser degree, the joints. There have been systems given less attention than the human doctor would, or sometimes the cardiovascular system is experimented on, respiratory system, and others, abdomen, and there have been some people who have said that they've never heard an abducting claim to have a tongue depressor used on them. There are sometimes some people have said that pills or tablets seem to be missing from the abduction narrative. Although some abductees say that they were asked to drink telepathically, they were asked to drink liquids, and injections were also given, like IVs. They're rare, but some people claim to have this. Now, understand, people say, well, these are people that are just dreaming. No, the people who claim this, folks, first of all, are credible, meaning that they are educated. They're not mentally unstable. They have nothing to gain at all by lying, nothing. And so there have been so many reports. That's why I'm saying that these reports, there's something to this. Well, fantastic, folks. So that is, Bill, you are fantastic. So for those of you who don't know, our Bill, our producer on the show here, has just informed me that Travis Walton has said yes, that he will be on the show, and that we're going to set a date. He'll set a date in Roswell when he meets them next week. That is, folks, that is huge news. Huge news. Now, Travis Walton, I mean, the Fire in the Sky, if you've not seen that. Yes, Mr. Producer.
Yes. I actually had to message him because his mailbox is always full.
Uh-huh.
But he was in Pine Bush a couple of weeks ago, and I spent like 8 hours with him. It's a long story, but I helped a lot. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And I told him about your show, and he said, "Sounds good, Bill. Assistant Bill. LOL. See you in Roswell to discuss."
Fantastic.
So that is Travis Walton. You can see it right there.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Producer is talking to us here, TikTok and Clapper. You guys can't hear. I'll tell you what he said. Thank you, Mr. Producer. I appreciate that. That is wonderful news. So, folks, I believe me, we will let you know. We will, and Bill, just let me know when. Let me know. And by the way, in August, let me double check here, everybody. Boy, this is going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about this. Let me tell you another a group that I have confirmed with them that they will be joining us in August. Hold on. I want to find. Hold on, everybody. Just because this is really, really cool news. I just got to go scroll down the email. I love this group. I absolutely love them, and I'm huge fans. And I've met them several times. Have had them on my show many times. On August the 25th, we will have as a special guest Midnight Syndicate. Now, Midnight Syndicate, I'm telling you guys, their music is phenomenal. Phenomenal. If you love powerful gothic, they have all kinds of, the music is just, I encourage you. I encourage you to go onto YouTube and type in Midnight Syndicate, SYNDICATE, Midnight Syndicate. They will be on as a special guest on August the 25th and talking about their upcoming project as well. So we're going to be giving you some really cool news that they're working on, and that'll be August the 25th. So make sure you mark your calendar. That they will be there. So August 25th, that's going to be fun. That is going to be, I like I said, I've had them on before. I love their music. I love it. And the problem is I can't play it, because if I play it, then YouTube and whatever the other thing is, Facebook will say that's a copyright violation, even though Midnight Syndicate has given me permission to play their music. So I don't know. I'll have to figure out how we can do this. I'll talk to them, because I would love, and they even gave me permission last time. It's like, can I use your music as my introduction music to the show? They said, yes, just as long as you let people know it's from Midnight Syndicate. I was absolutely. But I'm afraid that if I do that, I'm going to get copyright violation from Facebook or YouTube. So I don't know how to navigate, to go around that. So anyway, yeah, I know it's crazy. So there have been 300 reports of alien abduction in an attempt to observe the less prominent aspects of the claims. There are 4 other events that sometimes happened during an abduction. There's like a conference, a tour, a journey, theophany that I've already talked about. And again, there's a return. And eventually the abductors will return the abductees, usually to exactly the same location, sometimes, but other times, no. Sometimes the alleged abductors appear to make mistakes when returning their captives, which is pretty interesting. There's a lot of, obviously, when you're abducted, there's a lot of trauma, I think, and recovery. And you can have a private show. Yeah, I might have to do that. Yeah. So most people alleging alien abductions report invasive examinations on their bodies, as some ascribe even psychological trauma. So not everybody experiences, the nirvana after obviously being abducted. Now, people who have a false memory, which makes them believe that they have been abducted by aliens, develop symptoms similar to post-traumatic stress disorder, which is, again, pretty powerful thing. Most folks go through hypnosis, and a lot of alien abductees recall much of the alleged abductions through hypnosis, but not all. And that's why a lot of people say, well, no, it's just all about if you have to hypnotize somebody, then they don't remember it. Well, that's not the case. So let's be fair. Let's be fair about criticism, because there have been a lot of people who've criticized. I'm going to turn the comments off comments on TikTok, and then I'll answer your questions about demonology too. But I'm really I'm enjoying. I love this type of a show and topic. Alleged abductees seek out hypnotherapists to try to resolve like issues of missing time or unexplained physical symptoms, like muscle pain or headaches. Well, I suffer from chronic cluster migraines, folks. So I guess, and I have missing time all the time. So I got to think about it is interesting. I had one situation. And I'll tell you this. And some people are saying, James, you were abducted. So I'll tell you what happened. And then you can tell me what you think. No, I don't believe that aliens are demons. I do not. I believe aliens and demons are two different species altogether. So that's just my personal opinion. But here's my experience. I don't know if this was a dream or if this was real. It certainly appeared very real to me. But I remember I was in my home. I was watching TV, and I just kind of zoned out. I just zoned out. And here's what I remember happening. Above, because at that time I was in an apartment complex, behind it is a big open field. And I remember the event. I remember seeing this light. I was in the middle of the field for whatever reason. And I remember looking up and seeing this very bright light and coming closer and closer. As it came closer, the light came bigger. And I could clearly see what I thought, no question, was an oval shape metallic object. It was doing this, like I could hear that, but there was no engine noise. Originally, I thought that might have been like a helicopter, but there was no motor, none. It just, I could see the lights doing this and multiple color of lights. And I remember it actually landed and the door opened. And the only thing that I remember after that is I was inside. Now, in this, I don't remember any type of experimentation. I do remember being in water, but it wasn't a situation where I couldn't breathe. I could breathe. And I don't remember anything as far as what happened at all. I have no memory of that. But I then came back to, I guess, and it was 4 hours later. Now, I do remember that. That was very clear. That was concerned. And I remember even going into when I went to the field, I looked at my watch. And I thought, this is kind of strange. Why is this thing coming? What is this? I can't remember. It was 8 o'clock at night, or it was at night. And I remember dropping my watch because I couldn't see it. So I had to take it off my wrist to look closer to see the time because it was dark outside. And I remember dropping my watch And then this thing came down and I didn't pick it back up. Well, I really loved this watch. I mean, this was, I don't really spend a whole lot of money on myself, but this was a watch that I really loved and I wanted it. And I didn't want to lose it. But when I came back into my living room, I was not wearing the watch. That made me very upset because that was my favorite watch. So I remember talking to my buddy at that time because I had a roommate at that time, and his name is Steve. And I told him, I said, Steve, I need your help, man, because I can't find my watch. I don't know where it is. And so, and that really upset me. So I remember us going outside to this place where I saw this thing, and we were looking everywhere. I was looking and we couldn't find it. So the next morning we woke up. It's okay. Well, let's go back out. So I was looking all over. It was interesting is in this spot where this object landed, there are two very long strips. It's like, I'd say 10 feet, maybe parallel to each other, a good distance. And the grass will never grow. The grass is very lush in that area. But on those two strips, even to this day, and that two strips, the grass will not grow. And the next day, he found the watch. Now, I would have never, ever, never have just thrown the watch out on the ground. I would have never done that because it was an expensive watch. I wanted, this is something I wanted. I was working as a dean of a college at the time. So life was pretty good as far as the income, and I wanted to treat myself. And I did. And I have this watch now. This is the watch. And I remember when I got the watch, it stopped I think it was 8:00, the same time where I saw that thing. And but we found it, or he found it. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I don't know how my watch got to that. I have no clue, none. And I talked to Willie Windwalker Gibson, who has been. He says he's been abducted many times, and he's absolutely convinced I was abducted. But I don't know. So, but here's what I do know for a fact. I know for 100% fact that I would never take this watch. A watch that I saved for, and that when I was working as a dean, there's nothing wrong with that. I was making great income, and I would never have thrown this watch in the middle of the field, never, especially overnight. So I can't explain it, but there are people who say that. There are criticism, and they say it usually involves two phases: an information gathering stage, which is the hypnotherapist ask about the unexplained illness or unusual phenomena during the patient's lives, like alleged abductions, followed by hypnosis, and etc. So some people say it's false memories. Well, I was not hypnotized, but I remember this event, and I can tell you that I know the difference between a dream and reality. And I will say this. I know I don't, even to this day, I still don't think it was a dream. I just don't. But I remember that. And I would without question take a lie detector test right here in a heartbeat. And Steve was, like I said, my roommate was there with me. So he just thought that he had no idea because he went out and I was not home. I was not there in the living room when he came out. I think he was getting some water or something. He thought I was just going out walking or something. So, are you Rh negative in your blood? I don't know. I don't know why would that be? I don't know what that means. I can't because I don't know any hypnotist. I can't. I wouldn't be able to give you. Yeah, Sean is on. He's also on the show. Yeah, so I would not be able to give you a hypnotherapist because I just don't. I don't know any. Now we have a mental health therapist on our team, but I don't know if she does hypnotherapy. I just simply don't. Oh, Rh negative. I don't know. I'll have to ask my sister, Shannon. Let's see if because she might know. I don't know. Shannon, what is oh, thank you. I appreciate you liking it. Shannon, if you're in here, what is RH negative? Well, I don't know when Travis will be on the show. We literally just did this. Mr. Producer just contacted him, and Travis said that he will be. So Mr. Producer is going to Roswell next week. And so he'll be seeing Travis then, and they'll set it up for us. So A minus or A plus? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to find out. I'll have to find out. Well, so yeah, so Jennifer is saying that people who have RH negative blood types are more prone. That's interesting. More prone for abduction. That's interesting. I'm going to have to find that out. I will have to find that out, folks. So let me see. These are cool things about when you do these shows. You can learn, because I'm not an expert, obviously, in abductee, but I've talked to a lot of people about it. RH negative blood type. Okay. So I don't know if we're RH negative or not. So I'll ask my sister Shannon. I don't know where she is. She's probably her phone. Her phone's kooky. So we'll find out. Okay. So I think that's there's a lot of testimonials, by the way. There is a lot of testimonial. Oh, she's here. Okay. Well, Shannon, are we RH negative? Because someone says that we're, if people who are RH negative are more prone to abductions. I appreciate that. I do consider myself to be open-minded, and I think that's important. By the way, there's been a lot of people who have said that they've been abducted, and I don't think that we can just dismiss people, and I don't think we should dismiss people's stories. I think we should be respectful and learn and say, okay, let's talk about your experience. Let's talk about what happened to you. I love learning from people's different life experiences, because we all don't have the same experiences. And thank you for the 83,000 likes. Keep on pushing those likes, folks. I really need you guys to push this likes as much as you can on TikTok, so we can get into the algorithm, so we can get the account verified. I have not, Jeff. No, I have not. Abduction researchers Brian Thompson claims that a nurse reported to him in 1957 in Cincinnati that she encountered a 3-foot-tall praying mantis like a type entity 2 days after a V-shaped UFO sighting. Some corroborated accounts seem to support the literal reality of the abduction experiences. Jenny Randles and Keith Basterfield both noted that in 1992 MIT alien abduction conference, that of the 5 cases they knew of where abduction researchers were present on the onset of abduction experience, the researchers didn't physically go anywhere. Well, that's interesting. And now let's talk very quickly about the different types, because there's alleged types of these creatures. And I think it's important that we need to at least address that, and because there's so many. I mean, there's so many that we can go into, and because people talk about grays, and they talk about this, and they talk about, well, allegedly there are different kinds. He can do an entire show. Yeah, I couldn't do an entire show on RH because I'm not medically trained, but well, you get verified a lot by how many people share your lives, share or make comments on your videos, and also the likes. The more likes that we get, then you get into the algorithms. And so once you get into the algorithm, and it really is upsetting, because there's a lot of people who have created fake profiles on TikTok using my name. And I don't like that. Like, they'll go bishop.jameslong or bishopjames.long or bishopjameslong. And then what they'll do is they'll contact people and ask for money. I will never, ever, ever, ever send you a message ever asking you for money. Never. Never have, never will. So I've explained that. Yeah, Shannon, good. You're on here. Shannon, I didn't see if you said if you heard that. But someone had said that people who are Rh negative, Jennifer, is it Bailey? Said that people who are Rh negative, yep, Jennifer Bailey, are more prone to being abducted. Yeah. Again, I even posted on my TikTok account that I only have 2 accounts and that's it. That's it. So I even posted it. So that's all I can do. Yeah, I don't know what our blood type is. So I only have Bishop James Long and Bishop James Long .official. That's all. That's all I have. So I even penned it on my account. That's all I can do. Okay. So let's talk about the Greys. And you're right. Just because my sisters are Rh, and that's true. Just because my sister might be Rh negative or AB or whatever it is, doesn't mean that I am. So I get it. Yep, my Facebook is working. It's working. It's working, folks. I don't know. I can't fix it. I'm getting tired of Facebook because let me go to Facebook right now, and I don't know why Facebooks keep doing that. If someone can tell me that would be great. No, I would never, ever ask for. I don't ask for money, ever. So I won't do it. I haven't done it. And anyone who sends you a message, and I begged TikTok to please ban these people, but there's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I can do. So, I can only. Hold on. People are telling me that Facebook is not working, and it is. So just bear with. I hate doing this in the middle of a show. I can't fix it. I mean, because I don't own it. I don't own a TikTok. So, or not TikTok, but Facebook. So I can't. Yes, it is. It's live right now. I'm watching it. I'm watching it right now. Come on, folks. Don't do that. Oh, I see you. You are right. My humble apologies. It's showing it's locked. See, why are they doing that? So now it's open. For some reason, I don't know why, folks. If you can tell me why, but Mr. Producer, when we go live on my Facebook page, when we post it, it'll show a little envelope and doesn't allow me to open and let everybody see that I have an upcoming show coming up. And now that I'm seeing it on Facebook, it put a little stupid lock on it. So now I'm going to have to remember to go on Facebook every single time and open it up. Come on, Facebook. So it's open now. Thank you for letting me know. So we'll have to fix that. I don't know. All right, let's talk about the Greys. A lot of people say that they're gray-skinned humanoids, usually about 3 to 4 feet tall. They're hairless with large heads, black almond-shaped eyes. The nostrils, many times they say without a nose. A small slit for a mouth, no ears. Sometimes they have 3 to 4 fingers, including a thumb. Greys have been the predominant extraterrestrial beings of alleged alien contact since the 1960s. By the way, some of the most popular, of course, was the Roswell incident, where it says that that's what the Greys. There's also the Hopkinsville Goblin, small greenish silver humanoid. Some people refer to them as little green men, even though a few abductions have referred to green skin. No report has ever involved anything that would fit classic culture stereotype of little green men. There have been people who have claimed of Nordic aliens. And these are very interesting. And they are humanoids with stereotypical Nordic features. Tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. No, I am not an alien. And have featured in several cases of contact. Now, if it is said that they are from ancient Earth, but presenting themselves as ETs in the past, and they moved from living on the surfaces to live underground around the Himalayas area of a natural event. Okay, some say that they are cryptozoological animals. Others, now I've heard a lot about this, and so have you. So have you. Reptilians. Yeah, folks, there are people who've said that they've been abducted by reptilians. Okay. This is tall, scaly humanoids. Allegedly reptilian humanoid beings date back at least as far as back as ancient Egypt. And the reptilian conspiracy theory has been advocated by David Icke. There's a lot of people who have said that they have been that they have seen these or even people that they think are reptilians. If you don't know this, do a YouTube search. There are so many people that claim that celebrities are reptilians, and you can see their eyes change into like a reptilian thing. Now, during an exorcism, I have seen the eyes shape as kind of like a reptilian eye, very serpent-like, even where the contortion of the facial expression and the eyes change. Now, I have seen that. But would I consider them reptilian aliens? No. But I would certainly, it's a part of demonic presence, and that can be, not all the time, but it can. But so there we go. Okay, so hopefully that I don't want to go. I want to answer some of your demonology questions. Normally, I only do it an hour, but I enjoyed this, the conversation so much. So it's like, well, I'm just going to go a little bit long. So, all right, what are some of your paranormal questions? And if you don't have any, believe me, I got lots more to talk about. Lots more. Okay. So let me move this over here and put this over there. Okay. And thank you very much for the gifts on TikTok. I appreciate that. And thank you for the likes. We are now at almost 116,000 likes on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. Yes, Sean is converting. He is studying for be a priest, and he's doing fantastic. And I believe that he'll be prepared for the diaconate this fall. If you want to go to you can simply go to usocc.org if you want to know more about the church. usocc.org. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I think they did a great job with the Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists show. They have done the Lights of Phoenix is really it's true. But I think they've done a very good job. I still remember very, very vividly when all the exorcists, when we were all there, and Rich, of course, he's a demonologist, we were all there talking about our cases. And the first time I heard these cases, they were just intense. They were very intense. And I do believe that personally, I think that the director did a fantastic job trying to show we have, I think, trying to show a recreation. And it's very difficult to do that. So when you say I was frightened or I was scared, well, how do you then show that? How do you show that on screen? And that's difficult to do. That's not easy to do. And I think Brian is and he also served as one of the executive producers. Phenomenal guy. Okay. Well, I always cleanse myself through prayer. I mean, that's the most important thing. And I use holy water. And so I'll make the sign of the cross. I will pray the St. Michael prayer. I will ask God to remove any type of attachments. And that's what I do. Well, thank you very much there, Shannon. Yeah, folks, please understand. A lot of people are sending me messages on message. I have, that's very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have over 900 messages on Messenger. Folks, I even had to post something on Facebook telling people to calm down. And I'm not saying you, but people are being really rude and nasty, sending me really hateful messages. Why haven't you responded? What's wrong with you? I'm one person. I'm not getting paid. This is not, I can't do this full time. I have other ministries that I have to do. I answer the questions to the best of my ability. I have over 900 messages on Messenger. And then people demand that I respond immediately. I have 9,000 emails. So people need to just relax a little bit. I mean, I'm doing the best I can. I don't have a team. I am the team. I go through them. And the reason is I don't have other people look through the emails because some of these emails are very, very private and personal. So just, let's just relax with the command of why aren't you responding? Well, I'll do the best I can. And that's the way I am. The homeless ministry, I used to be a homeless a shelter, a coordinator for a homeless shelter in Kentucky, and I loved it. I did. I always tell people if your faith in God is being troubled or challenged, go to a homeless shelter and serve food. And I am live on Facebook. I've already addressed that. Oh, certainly, Julius. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? And then I have a couple of things I want to talk about, some articles. I don't understand. Manifest destiny. Are you talking about manifestation? No, I think manifestation is absolutely, and I think this is what you mean. And if I'm not, correct me. Manifest destiny, that what you believe or what you project is what you manifest. Well, actually, here's a little story that many people don't know. Michael Jordan, who truly, I think, arguably is one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived. I think most people would say yes. Here's what he would do. And I told this story before. He would actually sit in the plane while they're going to another location. And he would just simply close his eyes and do this. And just do this. This is what he would do. And he would do this for hours. And then eventually there was a reporter who watched this, and he thought, well, it's kind of strange. So he asked Michael, he said, why do you do this? Why are you on the plane doing this? And he said, well, his free throw wasn't always the best, and he wanted to get better. And so what he would do is he would manifest. He would actually physically see himself on the free throw line while he was on the plane. And he could just do exactly how he would arch his fingers and everything. And that's how he said he improved his his free point, the free throws. I think that's pretty interesting. And I think certainly what you project, you also receive. So if you're projecting hatred and anger and animosity, you will receive that energy. If you project positivity and focus, I think the manifestations, absolutely. And so to me, I certainly think that is a good thing to do. And I think anybody who talks about psychology or focusing, you can call it meditation. There's all kinds of ways, terminology you can use. But the fact is we are focusing on the positive, and I think it worked for Michael Jordan. What is the best way to keep evil at bay? Josh, do not do anything that's going to allow evil to enter your life. That's it. It really is. You have to understand that if you go around and you go to locations that are known to be demonically infested, and you go investigate, or you just, because you're interested, because you want to know if it's real. I want to know if it's real. Well, what are you going to do when you find out that it is? And that's what you have to be careful about that, because be careful what you ask for. So a lot of people, I cannot tell you how many times people have done that. They go to a location, they have heard that it's demonically infested. Well, thank you very much, Timeless, Deborah. And they go and then they go to a location, and now they have all kinds of activity occur in their home. And then they say, well, what do I do? How can you fix it, Bishop Long? Well, first of all, you don't wave a magic wand over this. So once you give that invitation, you could get in some serious trouble. So just be very cautious about that. Very, very cautious. And you're right, it opens the door, because because a lot of people have told me, well, I just want to go to this location because I want to see. I want to see if it's real. And as the old saying goes, and then when you see that it's real, what are you going to do? It's too late. And that's where the danger comes in. That would be like saying, well, I want to jump in the ocean with great white sharks and just see and throw a food overboard and with all this, to attract all these sharks to see if any of them would bite me. Well, what are you going to do when one shows up? See that you got to be careful about that, because when you start doing that, the very moment, you have to remember, folks. I want you to remember this. Remember this very, very carefully. He's fine. Sean is fine. So let me just remind everybody of this very carefully. The moment you step foot into a situation where you know or have heard that a demonic entity may be present, please understand that is a form of invitation. You have freely chosen to enter into an arena, if you will, of a violent entity. You have placed yourself in that area freely. That is invitation. So you need to be understand. You got to be very careful. Absolutely, yeah, certainly. You ask for help for Christ, no doubt about it. Yeah, I don't understand why all these questions about Sean. I'm not understanding this. That makes me concerned when I have a lot of questions about Sean. Is a wonderful human being. I think Sean is fantastic. He's been doing great as a seminarian. He will be a fantastic priest. I strongly endorse him, and that conversation is now over. Well, yeah. Thank you for almost 138,000 likes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Ignore. I don't understand. Oh, you're welcome, Josh. Yeah, you got to be careful. You understand. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I strongly encourage people to do that. Cannot address this. Cannot address what? You're not the only person asking questions. Please remember there are 3 computers that I'm running right now, and there's a lot of people asking questions. So again, doing the best I can, folks. Oh, Lord, give me patience and give it to me now. So, oh, I absolutely love scapulars. Yeah. So what is the question so that I can stop the show because you said I'm not answering the question? Talking what? They are talking past history, which we're not a part of. Oh, I don't understand. Okay, I'm moving on. You can go to usocc.org. Oh, a seminarian. No. There's no. I'm not discussing about seminarians. I'm just not. It's just not going to happen. Sean is fantastic. He's doing great. Doing fantastic. He's going to be a great priest. End of discussion. Next. Well, my grandmother was Native American. She was Cherokee. So I don't understand. Hypnosis, hypnosis is a, you have to be, there's a lot of people, especially in the psychological world. I have a good friend of mine that actually went to seminary with, who is a psychologist, and he's not a big fan of hypnosis because you have to be careful with it because you can implant false memories if you're not careful with that. So for example, like when you were abducted, okay, that's a leading question because it implies that they were. So you have to be really, really careful, really careful. No, enough. No, the grays are considered 3 to 4 feet tall. And those are the grays. And there's people who actually believe that there are Nordic aliens. Some people claim that there are reptilians or reptoids or reptiloids, reptilians. And but no, the Greys are considered 3 or 4 feet tall. Well, Greys are considered. Many people say that the Greys are the ones that are aggressive. I've heard just the opposite too. I've heard that the reptilians are the ones that are very aggressive. So even people in the field, in the community, there's debate. But it does appear that most people that I've spoken to in the UFO community have said that the Greys are the ones, the small gray, 3 to 4 feet tall, are the ones that do a lot of the alleged abduction. And well, see, I mean, here's about sadism. It's interesting. The question is are Greys sadistic? It certainly is. Anytime you take anything, any creature, any being away, and you violate their free will, that is absolute evil, no question about it. And it's unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. But I got to tell you something. We do it a lot to animals. We've done unspeakable, terrible things to animals, all in the name of cologne or perfume or shampoo. So, I mean, we certainly have, human beings have experimented, do some research on it. When I was at Loyola University, I did a paper in my ethics class on animal experimentation. And some of the things that you will learn that we did and still do are very, very troubling. Very, very troubling. I have no desire to debate. Why? Debate what? Yeah, I talked about the conference, the paranormal conference. I actually talked about that several times. I even gave out the information I talked a lot about that. So yeah, that's going to be on the July 22nd. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, candy, perfume. Yes, there have been people who have said that there have been injuries, and not only injuries that have been reported, but implants. So I've talked to a lot of people in the community have said that they've had some type of device implanted in them, and they're very convinced. They are absolutely convinced that they saw it or that they have it. So that's a good question. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? And then I have some articles that I want to get to before. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the universe. Thank you. Disclosure. No, I have no idea what that is. The press conference you're referring to. By the way, for those of you, no, I don't believe that demons are fallen angels. I think those are two different beings altogether. However, I will certainly say they behave in a manner that is quite evil in that they violate your free will. So for those of you who are in Topeka, Kansas, this is from KCTV5. So listen to this. It says a crazy yet fun fusion between circus theater and cabaret is coming to Topeka, Kansas this July. So Paranormal Cirque is I've not seen this yet, but I've talked about this several times. I need to check this out if it comes to Kentucky. It's a traveling show that brings the talent and excitement of a circus, but to an older audience. So according to the website, Paranormal Cirque is a new show with breathtaking implications, always poised between fun and the most uninhibited fear. So due to adult language and material, it is not intended for age under 17. The show is rated R, and a valid ID is required to purchase tickets. Now, children ages 13 to 17 must be accompanied by an adult, 21 years of age or older, but it's not intended for them. So for those of you who want to know, the show will be in Topeka at Heartland Motorsports Park from Friday, July 7th to Sunday, July 9th. with 5 available shows. And the ticket prices range from $15 to $60. I have not seen this. Have you seen? Did you see it, Tony? Did you see it? No, I've not seen that yet. I've heard a lot about it. I want to check it out because I've been talking about it, and I've been letting people know. And I kind of like to know, what I'm letting people know about. So, did you like it, Tony, or was it just something that people should not do? What is your personal opinion? Tony says that circus was in Springfield, Illinois, about a year ago. And so, Tony, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I just say, yep, whether or not you liked it or not. I thought those demon things, well, demonic entities are fallen angels. Yes. That wasn't the question is do I believe aliens are fallen angels? I do not. For those of you who also like, this is by Skylar Ashley. A paranormal themed festival comes to Turner Dodge House Saturday. And this is in Lansing, Michigan. I believe a special annual event that focuses on paranormal and horror themed vendors and exhibits is returning to the Turner Dodge House in Lansing Saturday. So Frankenfest starts at 11 a.m. featuring dozens of vendors doling out spooky handcrafted goods and a large showcase of guests, including true crime authors and paranormal haunting experts. The Turner Dodge House itself will be transformed into a haunted mansion packed with interesting attractions, from unique exhibits inspired by horror films and paranormal mythology to artwork created by Michigan-based artists. So for those of you who are interested, it's coming up tomorrow. And you can go to frankenfest.com. If you're out in that area, you're in Lansing there. So Franken, Franken, fest.com. Okay, so... so Tony says there were some things that were disturbing. Okay, so I appreciate you letting us know that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's rated R on that circus, so you have to be aware of that. It's probably not for everybody's cup of tea. I also want to remind everybody, don't forget, as I mentioned earlier in this show, on July 22nd. I'm going to be there with Bill Bean, who's an exorcist, Archbishop Fael Enright, who's an exorcist, and Archbishop Cloud, who's an exorcist, as well as Jason McLeod, who's a demonologist who worked with the Warrens. And we will be giving a presentation in Southbury, Connecticut at Heritage Hotel. I've talked about this earlier, quite a bit earlier, actually. If you want to get tickets, you got to go to darksiege.com. Darksiege, SIEGE.com. Also, I'm really excited to let you know it will be live streamed as well. So there we go. So if you can't get there, no problems. Come on over. You can watch it on live stream. Well, not come over, but you can watch it on live stream if you can't make it to Southbury, Connecticut. Well, a demonologist is something, it depends. A religious demonologist is someone who actually works with a church. Like Rich Valdez is a religious demonologist. He works for the church. So basically what he does, he takes cases, he works them, he gathers all the information, all the evidence, which is quite a bit. And then he presents it to the church and says, look, this is the situation that we have and that we need your help. This is why I don't understand why people, like I said before, I don't understand why so many clergy have an issue with me being in the paranormal. I've had that used against me so many times. I'm just sick of it. I'm not going to apologize because I enjoy the paranormal. But what I do in the paranormal is I teach about demonology. I teach about the dangers of paranormal investigating. And then I go to people's homes and I bless their homes. I don't understand what's so threatening about that. This doesn't make sense. But some people are going to be judgmental no matter what. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Thank you very much, Mr. Producer. I'm going to remind everybody tomorrow we're going to be here. It's open mic night. So for those of you who don't know anything about open mic night, let me tell you. Miss Wilma joins us. Miss Wilma is 68 years old. She has multiple sclerosis. She has a pacemaker. She comes on and she tries her best to make you laugh for about 30 minutes. She comes on from 8 o'clock to 8:30. We have a good time. We just goof off. And then at 8:30, I will again answer questions about demons and all. I've been doing this now for quite some time. we have Bible study. It's interesting. People say, you never talk about Jesus and you never come to Bible study, because we've actually had Bible study for quite some time. We have it on Sundays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And everyone is invited. So Sundays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. For those of you on Spreaker, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys, because believe it or not, we're almost getting ready to wrap the show up. Remember, and for those of you on Facebook, you've been in Twitter and everybody else, TikTok, I'll stay with you guys in just a second. So just hang tight. I always tell you that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. Remember, friends, you are priceless, and never let anybody tell you or convince you otherwise. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, KGRADB Radio. God bless. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.